Hi, it's Craig Smith here from the Home Education Foundation in Palmerston North, New Zealand. I'm going to talk to my fellow New Zealanders here. Often you say, well, now how do I get an exemption in New Zealand? Because that's what you need to teach your children at home legally in Kiwi land. You need an exemption from the Ministry of Education. And it's a document that exempts you from the law that says children must attend government schooling or a registered school from the time they turn 6 until they turn 16. And so you need an exemption from that compulsory attendance clause. So how do you go about it? Well, you contact your nearest office of the Ministry of Education. You'll find it in the front of your phone book in the blue section, blue pages under E for Education. Ring them up, say you want to teach your children at home. Could they please send you the information pack to get the certificate of exemption? And they'll send you all this useful, very useful information. Now the fascinating thing, there's a bunch of questions in there, but don't worry about it. When you first read it, you go, oh my goodness, I can never do this. Well, look, the document they send you is a dog's breakfast. It's really poorly written, and I think it's poorly written in one sense because they try to put you off. And if you just give up and say, I can't do this, well then you'll never leave the schooling system and the government's happy. But look, it's no problem answering these questions. All they're asking for, or all they're looking for, is a statement from you as to what you plan to do when you plan to educate your children at home. What do you plan to do? How do you plan to go about doing it? And how will you know you're making progress? The fascinating thing about it is that what you write there is basically a statement of intent. The fascinating thing, the unbelievable thing, is that there are no objective legal requirements. The only thing the Education Act says about home education is that the child must be taught at least as regularly and well as in a registered school. So the key words, regularly and well, these words are not legally defined, but the ministry has made some attempt to define them in a practical sense, and they're excellent definitions. Regularly means just that you demonstrate some commitment to certain routines, and as well as a registered school means that you show evidence of planning and balance in your curriculum. Planning, that you've thought this through, you have some idea of where you want to go and how you're going to do it. And balance means that you cover most of the basics one way or another. As I said before, there are no specific requirements. There is no such thing as a golden measuring rod on the wall down at the office of the Ministry of Education against which they're going to take your exemption application and hold it against this measuring rod to see if you measure up. No such thing. The only thing that exists down there at the Ministry of Education is the professional opinion of the Ministry of Education person who reads your application. And the Act again, the Education Act says the ministry must be satisfied that the child will be taught. Nothing about learning. The ministry must be satisfied. So when they read it, they have to be satisfied. So again, it's how does it strike the person subjectively? This is one huge subjective exercise. You are not required to teach any particular subject. You are not required to teach any particular subject to any particular level. Your curriculum, you can make it up entirely, make it up yourself as long as it shows evidence of planning and balance. And as long as you demonstrate in what you write that you have what it takes to put together a workable curriculum, and that you obviously are not stuck for ideas, and that you have what it takes to present an interesting program to a child at their age appropriate level, then the ministry is going to be happy, and away you go, you're on your way. It's really pretty straightforward, and there's no end of helps around. The Home Education Foundation has a website, www.hef.org.nz, and that's the website for that, and we have lots of helps on there. Ring us up or email us and we can give you lots more help. There are support groups all over New Zealand on the ground, and there are support groups all over the internet. Just within New Zealand, there's at least a dozen different email discussion groups, and they're coming at it from all different sorts of philosophical perspectives. So you can just, again, I can give you a list of those. If you contact the foundation, we can give you a list of all these different email discussion groups. You get on those, and they do a roaring trade in ideas, tips, information, and they also do a roaring trade in second-hand books and materials. There's just no shortage of helps in this country. It's brilliant. Once you get your exemption from the ministry, you also, as a New Zealander, have access to the National Library, which is a whole new range of books that are not normally stashed in the public libraries. So there's just no shortage of helps and no shortage of resources. It's just everywhere. The internet, of course, is one of your best resources anywhere. So much stuff. Interactive material for teaching a whole range of subjects, and most of it is free. You can purchase a course and buy into all sorts of programs on the internet that will take your children through program learning in various subjects as well. So again, just do your own investigations. You'll find there's more than you could ever make use of.